Just Talk Black Show. Disclosure Statement. Disclaimer. The views and opinions shared on the Just Talk Black Show are those of the hosts and guests, and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the show, its sponsors, or affiliates. This show is a space for open, honest, and respectful dialogue within the Black community. Some conversations may include sensitive topics, strong language, or personal opinions that are intended to spark thought and encourage positive change. Listener discretion is advised. All guests are responsible for the accuracy of their statements and agree to participate voluntarily. By appearing on the show, guests give permission for their audio, video, and likeness to be recorded and distributed across Just Talk Black's platforms. Let's talk real. Let's talk truth. Let's just talk black.
Real voices, real talk. This is the Just Talk Black Show with DJ Purpose. Every Thursday, 7 p.m. sharp. Every story, every struggle, every win we claim. We speak it loud, but respect on our name. Yeah. Let's talk black, we shine, we grow. Building up the people every Thursday on the Just Talk Black Show. From pain into pride, let the whole world know where I'm filtered, unite. Just Talk Black Show. We speak on the struggles, we celebrate with voices from the block to the boardroom within. Our stories connect us, it's deeper than chat. It's love, it's respect. Just Talk Black, just Talk Black Show. Say it loud, let's talk black, just Talk Black Show. Rise together, let's talk black show. Yeah. Just Talk Black Show. Oh yeah. Just Talk Black Show.
Hello guys, and welcome back to the Just Talk Black Show. Welcome back. And it's your host DJ Purpose for today. Guys, I'm telling you, if you missed the show last week, it's a show that you did not want to miss. You know, we was talking about tired. Are you tired? If you never tuned in last week, then I would really suggest that you go and watch that online. So go and watch that on the Just Talk Black Show on YouTube. You know, so that was an excellent show. I'm telling you, we had some callers in and we had some good chat going on in the chat box as well. So if you are new to the Just Talk Black Show, I just want to welcome you for the first time ever to the Just Talk Black Show, and also tell you to subscribe and also like the channel. You know, like the channel, it helps, pushes it out there to a lot more people out there. So guys, if you are please watching, let's get those thumbs up today. Let's get those likes up. And yeah, just welcome to the Just Talk Black Show. So we do have a special guest on today. This will be a phone in line. The guest will be phoning in. Well, it's actually on the line. I've got it on the line. So you know, I am going to bring our guest in and let her introduce herself. So today we are going to be talking about from the UK to Africa. You know, this young lady has started a company called BEEyond Honey. So is our guest, can you hear me? Is our guest right there? You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, DJ Purpose.
Okay. Can you just introduce yourself? Let people know who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Thank you, DJ. Good evening, everybody who's listening. My name is Adowa Corinne Dujon Lynch. I was born here in the UK, and I am the creator of BEEyond Honey, which is a luxury infused African wellness honey creation. And it's all about culture, wellness, and legacy.
Love that. So let's talk about honey. Let's talk about honey. I want to know, let's start with the benefit. Can we start with the benefit of honey before we go really deep into the topic and stuff? So just tell us some of the benefit about what your honey and how it benefits people.
Okay, absolutely. Well, most people know or have tasted honey, and there is lots of different categories of honey. So when we think about honey, we know there is the raw honey. Usually that is collected from the colony, the beehives, and then we have what we call a natural honey, very similar, and we have an unfiltered honey and unfiltered honey. And that unfiltered honey is what seems to be the most popular at the moment, hard to get hold of because the actual ground where the bees are, or the colony of the bees are, has to be natural in the way of there's no pesticides, there's no plastics in that area or on that ground, and then it is farmed or harvested by the beekeepers. Again, different ways of doing it. In Africa, we have a lot of our beekeepers who do it at night, not to disturb the bees. And also we have beekeepers in Kenya that does the harvesting naked, again, not to disturb the bees. And then we have what most people find in a supermarket, which is a honey that usually is containing some pesticides. It's containing what we call E numbers. Most may contain syrup because the beekeepers have fed sugar to the actual bees. So, there's a lots of controversy about what is a natural honey or an unfiltered honey opposed to what we find in the supermarket.
Okay. And just tell us, why did you choose the name as well of your company? What made you choose the name?
Well, first of all, let me just tell you that the company is called Green Staples Global Limited.
Okay.
And I started that company mainly because during the COVID, I was one of the thousands, if not millions, of people that was stuck abroad, could not get back to England. And I was quite fortunate because I went to Ghana at the time to see a chief in regards to um, producing microgreens, which is another product of mine.
Yep.
But the actual brand BEEyond Honey is all about the truth. It's all about healing through nature. It's about our African storytelling, generational wealth, which is really, really important. As Black people, we should be looking at generational wealth. And it's also about how we can take something as precious as honey and make it into, if you like, a premium brand, a luxury brand, just the evolution of honey. So BEEyond Honey to me was all about the fact that nothing exists as brilliant as BEEyond Honey, and it's out of this world, it's out of this galaxy, and it gives me the chance to use my creativity and imagination to bring the most beautiful flavors and taste.
Wow. And what sparked you, and what sparked you and the courage to imagine a life or a business in Africa?
Well, I have to say, really, it initially started with my brothers
Yep.
who have been going backwards and forwards to Ghana, I would say, for about 25 years now.
Mm.
And being born here in England, like so many, I was quite scared about going to Africa because when I was growing up, Africa wasn't something that was spoken about in my family. And therefore, being an English born, I was very scared about anything to do with Africa. And it was always, especially at school and college, you were trying so hard to fit in. You didn't want people to see you as an African,
Yep.
you wanted people to only see you as a Black person or a Black child from Caribbean, parentage. So for me, my brothers really brought home the glory, if you like, of going abroad in Africa, seeing it in a different light. And then I was actually given the, opportunity to go and work in Ghana, and it absolutely changed everything I thought about, you know, going to Africa, living in Africa. It was a total new education.
Total new education. So what did you start over? Like, what did you teach yourself? And what did it teach you about your strength in going to a whole new country? What was your strength that it really taught you? Did you see in yourself when you moved to Africa?
I think it taught me resilience. It taught me about self.
Yep.
It taught me about discipline and about community. And that was something, although, being brought up here in England, I hadn't quite found that. And I hadn't really found where I fit in, where do I
Mm.
belong. And soon as I got to Africa, the community, the love that I was getting was unbelievable. Don't get me wrong, there is hardships in
Yeah.
Africa, but it teaches you patience. It teaches you to not be fearful and that you can absolutely conquer.
Wow. Absolutely conquer it. So what problem was you trying to solve in the market as well? Because I know you said about starting your own brand and it's a black brand as well because you know what you're doing and stuff. But what problem did you really see in the market to really say, you know what, I want to hit the honey market?
Well, actually, to get into the honey market was quite simple in the respects of, there are beekeepers in Rwanda, that's where I was as well. And it's they produce unfiltered raw honey, okay?
Yep.
And they take so much pride in doing their work. It's really is amazing to watch them, to be around them. But the difficulty was how to make honey more globally accepted from Africa.
Okay.
And that really struck me as being quite odd. Why can we not import? Why are we not exporting? Why has the honey crop not increased? And when I started to look into research and across East Africa in particular, you've got fantastic beekeepers, but again, they weren't shown how to get on board with, exporting, what kind of standards should they be trying to achieve, what the education they needed. And therefore, I thought, this is where I need to start. But like every start, you need to be in a situation if you want to do large projects that you've got funding. Obviously, you've got the finances. And what I thought was a niche market is we've got this great honey and that's all we have. How do I revolutionize or evolve honey? Okay. And that's when BEEyond Honey was born.
Wow. And if you had to start all over again, what would you do different today if you had to start all over again?
That's such a great question. I think if I was to start all over again, I would start with being more prepared, as in financially.
Okay.
I would start by making more visits into Africa and getting more involved with the community and with the beekeepers as well, so that your supply chain can run a lot smoother.
Yeah.
I think that's really important as well, you know, and then it gives you a better standpoint.
Hmm. So basically, what you're saying is that when you're moving abroad, it should be a period of time before you actually sort of move. I know some people just get up and go. They've got that mindset. You know what? I'm going to live there. Maybe go once or twice. But to do a business, would you say that you really just need to go a couple of few times to really set that foundation right?
Absolutely. Because one of the things that we have to bear in mind when we go over to Africa is we tend to have a lot more structured, um, education training
Yep.
as well. So when you go into Africa, you need to go and set up a team. You need to train them in how you would like things done for your business. And that takes
Mm.
time and patience. You also need to be in a community because you want this kind of belonging as well. So again, all of these things, you need the patience. And going once and going, yeah, okay, I've done it, I would say no,
Yep.
because you need to build on those relationships. There's got to be a trust thing as well. And I think a lot of people, who decide to go in Africa, they forget that the fundamental thing is building those relationships.
Building a relationship is, so that's very important, to build that relationship with the community, as you're saying, to go down there. But there's a lot of people nowadays from the UK and Jamaica and America that's living this life and want to go to Africa. What would be the first step that you say that they should do if they want to, any part of Africa, say Ghana or Nigeria, or what would you say, like the first step that they would have to do, or what would your advice be to them?
Well, everybody hears research, okay? And I think that's absolutely correct. But in my opinion, even if you go with all that research, you still will come across obstacle, challenges, and stumbling blocks. You need to look at your finances. You need to be realistic about your finances. What you need to live on comfortably, or in the way that you're accustomed to, or how you'd like to be, right? And also the finances for setting up a business. You need to understand that. And one of the things I would always say to people is, whichever country you're going to, try to meet with the representative for business or chambers of commerce, or again, ask people, family and friends, if you have them there, to recommend solicitors, accountants, your social media person, and all those kind of things. Okay, that is really important, because sometimes we go in because we're so enthusiastic, but we go in blind.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure we've got some kind of network. Not everyone can just leave England, go to Africa, and land on their feet. Okay, it takes a lot of work. And visit the country. Don't just go to the same town and the same city. Visit the country. Visit the suppliers. Who is going to supply you whatever that you wish to make? And use your experiences that you have in the UK to really help you with structuring things, such as going on Fiverr and find yourself the graphic designer here who will make you what you require a lot quicker than maybe you'll find something locally. But at least initially, you can have someone to do that. And then when you go into the country, you then look for a graphic designer, and you can say to them, look, this is what I've had designed, this is what I'd like. I'd like you to now take it over and do X, Y, and Z. But it is so important that you visit and you keep an open mind, because trust me, if you don't, you'll find it so difficult.
So what did Africa give you that the UK couldn't give you? What would you say?
It gave me stability, actually. It gave me an understanding of self.
Coming out that comfort zone.
Sorry?
Would you say it's coming out that comfort zone?
Oh, yes. Oh, you definitely come out your comfort zone. And this is why you learn whether or not you have the strength and whether or not you have the ability to adapt and be flexible.
And that's what I was going to ask you. What is the first honest question someone should ask themselves before starting over? That's what I was going to ask you as well. That question there.
The first question you need to ask yourself is, can you actually be honest to yourself?
Honest.
Because you've got to have the ability to ask yourself some very hard questions. You have to be able to say, you know what, I can't do it. And when I get to that point, what do I do from there? Can I adjust? If you think you're going to take England and go into Africa, well, you're going to have a difficult time. Yeah. Water may not run for a week. You may get to this beautiful place that you've rented and find out, hang on, somebody else is knocking the door because they've double booked, right? So yeah, it does happen. So you need to be honest with yourself. You really do.
Yeah. And in part of Africa, would you say to build, as you said, to build that community, to build that network, to find maybe companies that can help you when you're down there? Would you say that as well?
Yeah. Yes. To have you gotta also be okay with talking to people. And I know that may sound strange, but there's a lot of people that go into business in Africa and they actually don't like speaking to people. They have a problem with networking or socializing, you know. So you really need to know yourself. As I said, you need to give yourself those honest questions.
Hmm. And what would you say that as a black woman entrepreneur, what challenges don't get talked about enough? What would you say?
Well, definitely, I would say it's always going to be the funding, access to funding. I only personally know of one um, company, a lovely sister called Nana, who has set up the most fantastic opportunity for funding for black and brown women here in the UK.
Yeah.
When we're looking at funding in Africa, my experience is it's not available to us who come from abroad. Primarily is because obviously they want to give their um, countrymen the opportunities. So therefore, ours is extremely slim to get funding from Africa. Also, we still have the stigma in Africa when you're a woman that you're going and asking for support or assistance.
Yep.
That is still a big problem in Africa. Obviously, not all African countries are the same, but I can say that I have come across that myself.
Mm.
And it's also about how we balance, strength, because we're quite vulnerable when we go to Africa. And I think that's something that's not spoken about enough.
Yeah.
The vulnerability when you leave the UK and go to Africa and you set up.
Mm. And what we say, what skills do you think that people need to build fast to survive as an entrepreneur, as a black entrepreneur? What's some of the skills that you think that people need to build sort of quickly to
AI.
survive? AI. AI.
AI. Um, there's a lot of controversy about AI, okay? And some negative, some positive. But I can say from my experience, you need to become friends with an AI, and you would do very well if you understand how your social media works, and things like that. Because no matter what you do now, all right,
Yep.
um, you need that as to me, as your partner. Get the skills that you can get online, whether it's graphic designing, whether it's knowing how to use Facebook, how to monetize your Instagram, all of these kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, because if you don't have it, it means you have to pay someone to do that, and initially, you want to be keeping those kind of costs down. And even if you can pay someone to do it, it's always good as a founder to have the basic understanding of what you need and how you want things to be. Because when you hand it to someone else, you know, you can spend a lot of time going over their work or not understanding and giving them that authority, which you probably don't want to give initially when you start off in a business. So you need to get as many onboard skills as you possibly can.
Yep. And when you say AI, what sort of AI are you talking about? Are you talking about ChatGPT or agents or, you know?
Well, I love chat. My chat's got a name. and,
Okay. So you
and
got you got an agent then? Is it an agent?
yes,
Okay.
and I use a lot of chat GPT, and I tell you why, because it's fast, it's efficient, and it actually feels as if it's a part of my staff now.
Yeah.
Okay. being a solo entrepreneur at this moment, it just means that you have so many tasks, so many hats you have to wear, that chat just sorts a lot of it out. And there's a lot of control still with chat GPT.
Yeah.
All right. So, and it's the easiest one for people to get into.
When you say it's the easiest one, would you say it's really easy, or is it that anybody can use it, but are they using it right? Because I know with ChatGPT, anybody can use it, and anybody can say, create me a post for maybe Instagram, and just give it a simple prompt. But I know prompting is a skill that you need to learn. So first of all, you need to give it a job role. Yes. So before you do anything with ChatGPT, give it its job role. Tell us what it's about. So you might say you're social media number one in the world at creating social media on Instagram. Now you would tell it what you want it to do, how you want it to do. But before we even touch that, because I could tell you a little bit about ChatGPT, you should be filling it with all your information on your business. Yes. And telling it everything it needs to know about your business and about yourself, and then when you are now prompting it to do certain things, it's got all your information on your company. So it can be, as I said to people, a good thing. Some people don't like it. Myself, I think it's a good thing. And I think it just needs to be used in the right way. Yes. So for any entrepreneur out there who is thinking about it, AI is definitely, I would say, the way to go nowadays. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to use it because they say it's, I don't know, some of them say it's evil and stuff, but I don't know. I'll leave them to that one there.
Yes. Well, I absolutely agree with you. I think, AI is a necessity right now. And you're right. I think you've got to learn how to do your prompts. When I first started with chat, I fed it all my story. I said to him, I want you to act as a strategist or the financial director of the company, depending on what I was doing.
Okay.
And without prompting, without giving all of that information, you can get a lot of useless, information back. And the more you use it and it gets to understand your tone, how you like things answered, it's better for your business. I have read, I'm sure like you have, a lot of stories about the evil and about the negative, but you know what? It all depends on how you're using it. If you're using it to do something evil, well, that's what's going to give you. If you're using it to create and build your business, it's a total different machine. Yeah. And I think people need to understand that. And a lot of people who don't like to use it as well are mature people, because it's a difficulty. This, still using the internet is difficult for them. I mean, I would love to see that we had in every borough, for instance, a class for mature people to go along and learn how to use the internet more effectively and efficiently for them.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to know, anybody in the chat, if you are watching out there, if you think ChatGPT is good for businesses, or even if you use it, let us know that you use it in the chat. And if you think it's good, definitely in the chat, I want to see people. Are you using ChatGPT, or there's another one, I can't remember what it's called, it's gone out my head now, but there's a few ones out there. Yeah. If you think it's good, and I'm going to just touch on it because it might just help anybody out there with who's starting a business. So with ChatGPT, you can set it up in a way to help with your business, and you can literally have a business coach. And with that, you can create agencies, and that agencies, you would have to have a paid subscription, £20 we're talking about, £20. But you're going to be paying a business coach maybe £150 to £300 a week or something like that. So for £20, you can have a business coach. Then, as well as your company, you can have board of direction, like board. Literally, you can have board people who maybe 5 or 7, or how much board people you want on your board for your company. And you can train your board people to be special people, like the guy from maybe Amazon or Apple, and ChatGPT will go and create all the information on these people, and then you can literally simulate a board meeting and ask the board questions about your business, and they can advise you. People would say, it's getting being lazy, but it's a
Yeah,
tool. It's a tool to be used
it's a
there.
tool.
So I would say to anybody, if you are starting a business, go look into it, invest in AI, because if you don't, you will get left behind. The quality that is producing videos and even
Hmm.
simple task of email, um,
Yes.
s- how to go and find people for your company, your audience. It can do all of that. So anybody who's listening out there, and I'm interested in anybody listening out there, are you using ChatGPT or is it Claude? There's another one called Claude and all that. So are you using any of those ones? But yeah, just moving on. I just want to ask you quickly. So what advice would you give to a black woman who feels unsupported in business today?
I think my first one would be start before you're ready. I
Hmm.
think we spend a lot of time going, I need to get this, I need to get that, everything needs to be in place. But my advice would be just start before you're ready. Get the support from, as I said, AI or chat to set up your business. You want to also look at building community, and that can be a community from right here in the UK where we have a lot of black owned forums, platforms, like we are here, radio stations, okay, that can give you the support that you need when you first start off. And look at networking at other entrepreneurs, right,
Hmm.
who are out there. And, you know, I don't know about everyone else, but I am always happy to give the support and any advice, so you don't make the same mistakes, because we should be really looking about how we're helping each other. And also protect your vision. When you first start off as an entrepreneur, right, you're so excited, you're so passionate. And I get caught out like this quite a lot still. But because you're so passionate, you want to tell everyone, I do this, I do that. Oh my God, I'm going to make this happen. And all I'm saying is protect your vision. When you're speaking to certain people, make sure you have an NDA, which they need to sign before they do anything with you. When you have, even you're going to find people going to volunteer to help you, get them to sign an NDA. All right. And all what that is, it's a protection between you and them so they do not go out giving information about your business to other people without your consent. And I've never had a problem with people signing it, all right, because on a whole, people understand what you're trying to do and they're happy to sign one, you know, and learn about finances. As Black people, not all of
Hmm.
us, but on a whole, we lack financial advice and support or education. Learn about your finances.
Yeah, definitely. So what mind shift did you have to change for everything to start going in the right direction? What was it? What was that mindset shift that changed everything for you?
It was to be focused, to know, and I believe this very much, that everything I need is within me. And I mean that from a very spiritual part, okay? To just know that you can make this happen. It may take some time, you may have to do different things, but stay focused, stay on the journey, on the road.
Hmm.
And that's what I try to do.
And people say, "How do I stay focused?" Because you could say stay focused, but how? What's a practical step that we can use to stay focused?
Well, I meditate. I
Okay.
use meditation to keep me focused and also to make me know that I am perfect, right, in the way of how the creator deems me to be. I think try not to do everything at once, because again, when you're starting off, you feel so passionate, you feel you can do
Hmm.
everything. Do bite size, do small things daily, but be constant, and give yourself a pat on the back when you do those little wins. Don't, just say, oh, I've got to sell, I don't know, 100 infused honeys, and oh, when I don't do it, I feel bad. Give yourself the small wins. You know what? I sold 20, and I was able to talk to 3 other people who I think I could network and get me to my next step. Give yourself a pat on the back for the small wins.
Yeah, definitely would say that. And it's funny that you say that because, you know, just this week, and I'm just going to be honest with people out there, small steps is very important. And I know there's a listener out there going to laugh at me because, you know, we had a conversation about it. And when you are passionate about doing everything, like you're passionate about what you're doing, you try to do everything. And I think that's an important step that, you know, as you said, to take those, the baby steps and do it in small portion. Because if you don't, you run the risk of getting burnt out. And that's happened to me. To be honest, that's happened to me because I'm so passionate about the Black community. I want to do so much. I want to do this. I want to do that. And, you know, it came to a time that I got burnt out. And somebody was literally saying to me, you're doing too much. You know, you can't do this, you can't do that. But I was like, no, I can do it. I can do it. I believed in myself because I had so much passion about it and I wanted to do it. But that's my advice to anybody out there. Do it in small steps, as you said.
Yes.
You know, small steps, bite steps, and give yourself a pat on the back as well. That when you do achieve those small steps, which, as you were saying, is very important to give yourself, you know, and recognize that, you know what, you should be proud of yourself for just doing that.
Yes.
You know, definitely, I agree with you on that. So how can the listeners begin reconnecting with Africa? You know, if some of them are, you know, say, you know what, I want to know about Africa, but you know, how can the listeners today begin to reconnect with Africa in an authentic way?
Well, the first thing I would say is, obviously, as we know, we've got to do our research, right? But again, we do have quite a lot of hubs. I'm trying to remember one off the top of my head that the viewers can connect with. And this platform, and there's also WhatsApp groups. They look at all the different countries. In fact, they even arrange you flights and people to connect with. I have one in Ghana and I have one in Rwanda and one in Tanzania, you know, where people can connect with these people, speak to them before they go out there, and then they'll sort out everything for you. All right. I think that's very important. Make the decision to go somewhere. I think that is so important. Okay. You know, with 50 odd countries, there's somewhere that's going to suit you.
How
And
much country did you say there was?
50 odd countries.
50 odd countries. Come on,
Yeah,
in Africa.
on our beautiful
Come
continent.
on. That's what I'm saying to people. 50, like literally, I don't know if that's the right number, but 50, you know,
Yeah,
that is a lot. And people want to go Spain, they want to go Greece and all them stuff. But Africa in itself has over different, like, come on.
exactly.
That is so amazing. And that's what I think as Black people, we have to unteach ourselves as well, that what we've been taught to see how Africa is.
Yes,
You know, because
absolutely.
we think it's a small island, and the way they put it on the map as well, that
Continent.
is, yes, they put it as a very tiny little island, and it's not. Come on.
It's not. And again, we know that it's being reviewed now, okay, to tell the truth. Don't know when that's actually going to become, when we can hold an atlas and actually see Africa for what it is, but it is being reviewed. But the thing is, you know, this is how I have seen quite a few of my friends here in England. There is the fear, you know, because it's been, you know, pumped in our mentality: African starving children, big bellies, flies, let's go on, right? But the thing is, that is not all Africa.
Yeah.
It's not the story. Do you understand? So, you know, when I've got my friends who, as you said, you know, going to Spain, for instance, and they're happy, they can blow £2,000, go to Spain, right? But they would not even think about blowing that to go to Africa.
Yeah. Even Egypt. As somebody just said, I want to visit Egypt. You know, that's a great country to visit. My granddad said, definitely. I think Egypt's one place I definitely need to go to. You know, Ghana is one place I really want to go. You know, I've watched so much different videos on YouTube and follow a guy, I can't remember his name. There's a YouTuber that literally goes around to so much different.
Oh, that's our Ghana baby.
Yes.
I call him Ghana baby.
What's his name? You know his name? I can't remember his name. It's gone out my head.
Yeah, because I always call him Ghana baby.
Ghana baby, yeah. But he literally goes around to all these different places in Africa.
Yeah,
He's even been to the Caribbean in certain places. But I
that's
watch a
right.
lot of his
Ghana baby.
videos, and you can
Yeah,
learn so much and see so much beautiful, like
it's
absolutely
amazing.
beautiful.
And I have to say, he put Africa on the map as far as I'm concerned,
Yes.
right? He opened all the doors for us to look in. And even if you decide, you want to experience Africa, look at those videos. There's so many great videos and honest people out there who's telling you what Africa's like, and as I said, people are welcome to contact yourself or myself
Yep.
for anything to do with, you know, Ghana, Rwanda, and Tanzania, and even Kenya. Oh, I loved Kenya.
Oh, Kenya.
Very
Yeah, I've heard
artistic
about it.
place,
Yeah, definitely. Definitely
very
Kenya.
artistic.
No, so
So,
yeah. So where can people learn more about your work as well and support you? Because that's a definitely where can they learn about it?
okay, so I'm hoping at the weekend to launch our Spotify, but you can definitely find me on Instagram at Alkebalan Beyond
Alkebaland.
Honey.
Okay.
Alkebalan, for those who don't know, is the original name of Africa.
So just put that spelling out there for them, just in case they, just put that
Okay,
spelling.
the Alkebulan, Alkebalan.
Mm, Alkebaland. And have you got an Instagram page as well?
Yeah, so it's under Alkebalan BEEyond Honey, and Beyond is spelled with BEE, Beyond Honey.
BEEyond Honey. Okay, well, what I would do for people as well, definitely I would at the description when this video ends, I will put all the links to where people can find you as well. 'Cause
Wonderful.
I think that's definitely important, that people can find you because they're gonna want to buy this honey. Have you got a website and stuff as well where people can
Yes,
literally go on?
we do have a website, and you can find that also on our Instagram and Facebook page, because tomorrow actually we launch our Valentine's edition.
Okay.
I prefer to say our love edition, because we love people all through the year. We don't have to wait for one day to say we love someone.
Mm,
So we launch that tomorrow, and with this particular infusion, for me, it was about replenishing one's soul,
yeah.
and that kind of thing. So it's a very important addition.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely. So that they can find it on your Instagram, which I would definitely put in the description. So guys, after the show, we will be putting where you can buy these honeys from. So look, if you're gonna rewatch this a bit later on, you will come back and you will see it in the description where you can literally buy this honey from. Just for the listeners who just come in as well, just quickly, I know we spoke about it in the beginning, but just tell us some of the benefit, because we are talking about your honey that you've made out of Africa. Just tell the listeners, because some listeners are coming late, just about the benefit of honey and how honey can help you.
Okay, so the first thing to know about the BEEyond Honey range is the floral, the spices, and the herbs that is used in any of the infusions has to be therapeutic, beneficial to the human being. So, in other words, they may help with things like inflammation. They will help with stomach aches. They will help with helping you with concentration for your brain, for your nervous system. We have some ingredients that is known to help with the circulatory system of your body. So that's your heart, that's your blood, okay? Your respiration system. So it helps with your breathing, because if you are poor in health when it comes to your immune system is low, you can have all kinds of problems with your respiration and also with your circulation. So every single herb is carefully thought about. You know, in this Valentine's edition, for instance, there's ginseng. Ginseng is a very powerful root, okay, and it's very good for people who have problems with sleep, lack stamina, tend to feel very dehydrated or faint during the days or weak. You know, we have one that has baobab powder in it, which is the tree of life, which we know comes from West Africa. And again, that is all to do with helping with muscle, with your hormone imbalance, with sleeping. So whenever I create anything, it always has to do with health.
Okay. So what you're just talking about is some of these ingredients in the honey, or
Yes.
yes? Okay. So
Absolutely. You know, I'm often asked what is the difference between a flavored and an infused honey. A flavored honey on a whole is when they dip the ingredient in for a while and they remove it. Every single one of the BEEyond Honey range, the ingredient, whether it's the spice or the herb or the floral, is left inside the unfiltered honey. And the reason for that and what makes us unique is because when it's actually put into the jars are baked. So they're sanitized and then they're baked in the oven. So when I pour in the infusion, it's in a heated container. When you put the lid on, that infusion, if you like fine wine, infuses.
yeah.
When it's open, when you open it, you're the first one that's open it. So that infusion is as, how can I put this? It's as rich and it keeps all the therapeutic benefits inside it. And every time you go and you use it, okay, it's infusing. So it's getting better and better and better. And that's what makes us unique.
Hmm. I love that. Definitely. Definitely love that. As I said, I will definitely be putting it back down in the description, so where people can literally buy your honey from. I think this is what we need to do as black people as well, support one another.
Mm.
Definitely supporting in the black community. I think we need to step that up big time. You know, I think there needs to be some sort of big advertisement or something going around where we are putting in the community that, we need to support. We need to support our own businesses, because every other culture out there, they support their own.
Yes.
And as black people, we need to start doing that. That's definitely one of the biggest thing I see in the black community, that we're just divided, and we need to come back and start
Yes.
supporting one another. It's important. I don't know what you're taking as that as black people. I think that we definitely need to support one another a lot
Yeah,
more.
I think you're absolutely right, my brother. I think that it's got a lot better. I
Yep.
think the Americans are doing it a lot faster than us, okay, because they've got whole like superstores just for black artisans, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think that we are getting there because there's quite a lot of events that are popping up now. But as you said, we really need to be looking at how we are effectively supporting each other. And it's very difficult because, you can walk into Sainsbury's and buy a pot of honey for, I don't know, £4.
Yep.
Never one thing, that's fine. They just recently, last November, did a massive documentary about honeys from the 5 big stores that we have in the UK, and it's quite appalling. But Aldi can sell honey, so they say, for 83 pence. Hello, not possible.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when you look at people who are looking at their well-being and their health, the average white person will happily go and spend £45 for a jar of Manuka honey, and that's great.
I've heard that Manuka honey. I've heard that actually. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Manuka honey will always be on the lips of everyone because we've been brainwashed to believe that's the best in the world. Well, watch the documentary. But what I would say is, from my personal experience, when I taste the honey from Africa and the Caribbeans, right, it is amazing. It's
Hmm.
amazing. Because they haven't got thousands of pounds to spend on pesticides, so they do it the traditional way, you know.
Yeah.
They haven't got thousands of pounds for machines that's going to come and do it. They do it the traditional way. And the honey that I've tasted is absolutely amazing. And when it comes to Europe, Ukraine, you cannot get better than Ukraine honey.
Ukraine. Okay. Definitely need to look into that one. Never heard about Ukraine before.
Yeah.
What's the brand of that one? Do you know the brand? If anybody, what's the brand of the Ukraine one?
I think it's called Golden Nectar.
Golden Nectar.
It's not easy to get hold of.
Okay.
And Greek honey is very good. The most expensive honey really is honey from parts of the Greek islands, but also from Yemen.
Yeah. But obviously the best one is your one.
Yeah,
which is, come on.
Well, mine is infused. Mine
Infused.
is to a different level.
Totally different level. But I'm gonna have to definitely get one of your honeys. So you
I
know,
will send you one,
after the call, I'm gonna have to definitely buy one. I know a couple of people's gonna want some as well. So we're definitely gonna support you with that. But I think as Black people, I think there's a lot of events going out there that's going on and talking about Black-owned business, but there's not really a big push for us to support one another.
Yeah.
We're all starting our own businesses and saying, I'm doing this business, but there needs to be that community. And I think that's the most important thing out there for us, for a Black community. We need to build that that community back where we are supporting, where we are buying from one another, you know. So I think that's very, very definitely important, definitely.
Yeah.
But what would you say what slowed you down the most in Africa? What would you say was the most? Was it the logistic? Was it the people? Or what was it? What would you say it would be?
The opportunity to really do whatever you want, to be who you want to be. It's the opportunity it's a real second chance. That's what I would say is, I think after so many people are working over here, or they're, even unemployed over here in our community, the ability to go to Africa and be someone new is a wonderful experience.
Okay. But what would you say that slowed you down the most when you went there for your business? What slowed you down the most?
I would say it's the lack of understanding on both sides. Obviously we're going to go in and they're already decided, the majority of the Africans, that we have money, we're wealthy, we're okay. Okay, I can understand absolutely where they're coming from. Compared to them, yes, we are.
Yep.
But there is also this massive gap of understanding from both sides, where some of them do not see us as family. Okay. A lot of them don't really know about the slave trade that happened.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And that's quite something. Also, the lack of trust, again, on both sides. When we tend to go over there, and this is just me personally,
yep.
You're expecting, although you're in Africa, you're expecting that you're going to have the same outcome, the same approach, everything, because this is what we're used to.
Yeah.
And we need to find that line of understanding and to negotiate as well our way forward. All right. Because a lot of the time when you first go there, you're like, well, why don't I have this? I've paid for it. I should have this. I should have that. And the reality is no. Right? So what tends to slow us down is our mindset, which includes also our behavior. All right. And to understand that, do not expect them to respond to you straight away.
I've heard that. I've heard about that. Yeah. I've literally heard about, where people over here expect things to happen straight away. In Africa, it takes a bit of time, and that's not everywhere, but I did hear about, And these are the sort of stuff that you have to learn, because when you do go over there, people operate differently.
Yes.
Definitely operate differently.
I mean, what I would love to see is that we have a platform or we have a form, whatever, that it's like a training to go to Africa. Maybe that's what
Mm.
we've got to set up, my brother, right?
Oh
A
yeah.
training where people are, can express their concerns, and there is that support where we could say, look, if you're going to go with that attitude, you're not going to get that.
Mm.
We need to be trained to go home.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there needs to be, well, there must be companies out there that can, as you said, I think you were saying earlier about companies out there that you can book with them to go over there and
Mm,
learn and experience about the country and stuff. But as you said, also learning about it. I know people do trips back home and stuff. I can't remember what it's called, where they go back to Africa and they go all around and show them the history and
yes,
certain things.
yes.
But what it is as well is finding the right connections down, as you said as well. But definitely about learning how to go back, I think is important. You know,
I think so.
definitely
I think it's
something
very
needs to be looked
important.
at. You
Yeah.
know, and as well, just another one. What's one step someone could take this week to move their business forward?
Mm, that's
What would you
interesting.
say? To a listener out there today, what's one step that someone could take this week who's listening to move their business idea forward?
If you have a supported family or a good friend, husband, girlfriend, all right, my first thing would be discuss what you want to do.
Mm,
They know you better than anyone else. And I'm not saying you need to, rely or taking everything they say as gospel, but they know you sometimes better than yourself. They'll know your strong points, your weak points. If you do not have, friends, family, boyfriend, girlfriend, you know what? You need to sit down and have two columns, strength, weaknesses. And you need to put down what you think your strong points are.
mm,
What do you think your weak points are? And really look at it. And whatever they are, how can you resolve them bit by bit? Because you can't just do it overnight. Yeah.
yeah.
So if you're this one of your weaknesses, you do not like to read books, because a lot of people don't like to read books. Okay. A way to resolve that is, can you sign up for audio books online?
Mm,
Can you read 1 to 2 pages a day? Because that helps you to focus, that helps you to look at language, that helps you to be more articulate. You understand?
yeah.
So, to start off with, look at yourself. Are you a person that, don't like going out after a certain time? For instance, there's
Mm,
some people who, are in business and they don't want to be doing their business at 6 o'clock in the evening when it's getting dark. They've got family or commitments. How would you resolve that?
yeah.
Are you a good planner? Are you a bad planner? How would you resolve that? Would you just download an app that can do your planning? Perfect, you've got that solved. But you need to look at self first.
Their self first. Definitely, I think that's would be for anybody listening at it today. That would be the one step. To move your business forward. Be honest with yourself. Honesty.
Yes.
If you need help, ask for help. And how much of us, when we really need help, ask for that help. We just try to do it by ourselves.
Yes.
So definitely I agree with you on that one. And I'm gonna ask you basically the last question for today as well. What would you tell someone who feels it's too late to start again?
Well, I know I'm on a show, so I have to answer politely. But absolute BS and
Yeah.
all the other words that goes with that. You are
Mm,
never ever too late. You're only late when you can't take breath. That's when
mm.
you're late.
Come on, definitely agree with that one.
Do you understand? Because my brother, one of the most beautiful things about starting a business late in life, you've got all the experiences. You're not frightened on a whole to talk to people. You probably don't have your babies around anymore. You are free to a certain extent. So you're able to focus, you're able to ground yourself. So it's never too late. Start as soon as possible. Start tonight.
That's right. Start definitely tonight. I would say if you've got that vision, you got that goal in your mind, go for it. As you said, start small and work your way up. Work your way up. Start small steps. Definitely, I agree with that.
Absolutely.
And as well, someone's asking, what's the best book you recommend for starting a business? I've read one book the past 3 months. You know what I'm going to say with that one? I'm going to answer that one.
Go on.
And it's about what we was talking about earlier. Do you know how great ChatGPT is? Now you can put as many business book into ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go into ChatGPT. Then you go into Google. I think it's LSM. Don't count me right on this, people, but it's something like Google LMS.
It is.
You put that in there and you ask ChatGPT, put like 5 books in there. Name the 5 books. Tell it to go and basically collect all the information from these books.
Mm-hmm.
Let it come back. And then what you can do with that, you can put those 5 books, just tell it to take the most important information out of those books. The most important information out of those books, which is going to help your business and help you as an entrepreneur as well. And it will come back. And what you can do with that as well, you can put it into a podcast style. So you can put those books into a podcast style where now there's 2 people actually talking about what you've just researched, and what ChatGPT comes back is actually 2 people talking about what you've just done. And what you can literally do, and this is how good it is, you can ask the podcast people, which is ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
You can stop and you can ask them questions.
Yes.
You can literally ask them any questions of the books that you've just basically told it to go and get, and it's put it into a podcast style now, a simulation of a podcast where you can just listen to it and they're talking about this topic or these sort of books. And now you can stop it at any time and ask the question. And it will answer you back. Whatever you ask the question and you've asked, it will tell you the answer. That is how powerful. I'm telling you how powerful it is. So I would say to do it that way. Literally go get all the books that you think are good for businesses and do it that way. Learn how to put it into that, because you can read that one book and you can take something from that one book, but why not put 5 books into it and get more information than you could have ever done in such a quick time?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my advice. That's just my advice. People can, buy a book and still read it, but I think you have to get ahead of the game very fast, or you will get left behind. I don't know your opinion on that.
No, I agree with you. Actually, I use that same what you just said.
You do the same thing, yeah.
I
So
use
you're
that route.
very advanced then for that. Could you know that? That's good.
I use that route. It's I call it my Bible, because what it allows you to do as well is when you're asking questions and you're getting the answer back, you can get it to create your own company Bible, and it's your reference Bible.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, people, we're learning stuff today. I think I need to do a chat show about AI. I think I need to get someone on, and we'll have this talk about AI, because people are frightened of it. There's people who's frightened about it and don't even want to know about it. But there's people, when Facebook came out, when Instagram came out, when Twitter and all that came out, TikTok, they're all saying it's the devil this or the devil that or this or that. But then people got left behind. People made millions out of it and still are making millions out of it,
Yes.
Definitely. But you know what? I just want to, is there anything that you want to say to the audience before I let you go?
I just want to say, I know what it's like to be afraid. I know when you're starting off by yourself, everything is down to you. But trust me, there's always going to be a few people, it could be your best mates. I would find it difficult if I didn't have G, who is my graphic guy in Rwanda, if I didn't have David, who is my financial advisor down in Ghana, and if I didn't have a Fuke, who is here in the UK, and he just does all of it, and they do it voluntary because they want to see BEEyond Honey being the number one brand globally. So don't be frightened to ask people. I think that's a black thing as well,
Mm,
that we're frightened to say, look, can you help me? The worst that can happen, they can tell you no, right? But on a whole, if some people see that you really want to try to do something unique, something that is going to help not only you, but them as well, and community, they're going to help, right?
definitely.
So I think it's important to adjust mindsets.
Definitely. Yeah. I agree with you 100%, Definitely. But, before I let you go, I want to ask you the most famous question I always ask people on the show, which is the last question. If you could host a table with any one black person, living or passed away, who would you invite and why?
Oh my gosh, I love this question. I've been waiting for this one. So I would ask Maya Angelou to come to my dinner party.
Who would you ask?
Maya Angelou.
Okay. Tell the people who they if they
Okay.
don't know who that is.
Okay, so she is a famous black poet,
Okay.
and I would ask her because between her and another person, they have really kept me focused, to be honest. I listen to her teachings. Um, she is a great storyteller. She's got so much strength, and her cultural pride, as far as I'm concerned, is second to none. You know, she's really helped me work through pain and obstacles and, oh, I can't do this, right?
Hmm.
All of that kind of feelings you get. And she's kind of transformed that into purpose for me, you know, from her voice, the way it uplifts you. I love her black identity, and I just think she is the most admirable person. She blends art, activism and legacy and resilience just in her voice. So for me, she would be the one I would want sitting at my dinner table.
Oh, definitely gonna agree with that one. Definitely, that's a good one. Still, first one of it. That's actually the good one. But no, I just really want to thank you for today. For coming on the Just Talk Black show. It was really a pleasure to really interview you. I think this is what we need to do. We need to talk more about Africa. And about people going home and starting businesses, and even going out there and setting up for life. Like, why
Oh,
is it that we can't do that? Why is it that we shouldn't do that? Because other people from other country come to England, make the money, send it back home and build back home and go and live a happily life.
yes,
And,
yes.
the sun, the weather, the food, the
Oh,
freshness out there, you can't beat that to live a healthier life, where you can literally go out there and pick fruits and, and
oh,
just
it's
live
amazing.
naturally. you
It's
know
amazing.
it's such a beneficial to us, and I don't think black people realize as well about the sun, how important the sun is to our melanin, to recharge us, to do stuff, so it's important. I think definitely I need to have a bit more shows on Africa and going back to Africa and different
Yeah.
part of Africa as well that people's been to or lived in, and
Hmm.
how they survived. And I think that's definitely, I have to add that to the show, because of this interview today with you. I'm going to look more into that and put it more into the show because it's so important.
Thank you. I would love that to happen. One of the biggest things, and I'd love to leave this with the viewers or the listeners, is this. we have this misconception that, especially as you're older, we care about, health. Oh my God, what happens if I get sick? What happens if, I break a leg? Now, I need everybody to understand this. There are plenty high-end hospital facilities in Africa that nobody or very few know about. And the same in the Caribbean. And when a lot of the celebrities actually get hurt or need healthcare, they fly to Africa. And we should think about that. Okay? We should really think about that. And you pay fraction of the cost as well. My mother is 91 years old and she's been going backwards and forwards to Ghana, I think maybe for the last
Wow.
10 years. Right? So there is no excuse, people.
And that's the thing as well. You said the facility in Africa when it comes to medical as well. But what people don't realize as well, it's just the natural herbs over there.
Oh, please.
The natural herbs over there. I know somebody who was suffering with cancer, and they kept on sending, I think it was either Jamaica or Africa, they kept on asking them to bring over soursop because, soursop is really good for cancer and stuff. So they was like getting it shipped over in boats, like to just eat that natural soursop,
Yes.
So I would say as well, the herbs that we have over there, the natural herb, not sometimes when you buy herbs here, they're not really the real thing, people tampered with them and you don't know what you're getting.
They've been processed, right? They've gone through process. You don't know how long it's been sitting in the warehouse. You don't know how long it's been sitting wherever it was to be packed and shipped. There's a lot that goes into it. Soursop, oh my gosh, is the most amazing herb there is.
Come on, soursop, yep. And that's it as well, Pete. I think soursop, that fruit is the best way, the naturalist way to consume it. People would say it's in the tea and stuff, but I would say definitely it's the naturalist way just to eat that soursop, and it does wonders for you.
Yeah, or put it in honey.
Put it in honey as well. Come on, honey,
It's
definitely.
coming.
Dip it in honey.
Soursop from Jamaica is coming in the infusion.
Definitely. But you know what? I just want to thank you anyway for coming on the Just Talk Black show. I mean, this interview was really, really education for me as well. It's going to help. It helps me in many ways because I said I do want to go to Ghana so we can have that conversation as well. And to visit many parts in Africa, I definitely want to do that. I think it's so important to go back home and see your roots and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you for coming on the Just Talk Black show today.
Thank you so much, brother. I've totally enjoyed myself. I hope the listeners has come away with a lot of, new thoughts, the new ways of thinking, and just some new information. And I look forward to coming back again.
Definitely we have to get you back on as well. I think we're over the next couple of months, I'm going to be revamping up the show as well, changing up the structure as well, and having different ways that people, when you do come on the show, that people can literally scan a QR code and go straight to your websites and stuff. So I will be adding that onto the show coming soon as well. So I think it's important to have that where people can find you on your social media and stuff. So definitely I will be putting out a shorts in this because I think it's important, and putting your website and your Instagram and everything on it because it's so important that people can find you and support you, So definitely. But I just definitely want to thank you for coming on the Just Talk Black show today.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day. All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
And literally, guys, that is it for today for the Just Talk Black show. But you know what? I'm going to give you a chance. Is any callers out there that want to call in and quickly have a conversation with me about today's topic? Let's talk about Africa. If you want to quickly call in and give me some information on Africa, if you've been to anywhere in Africa or which part of Africa, let's have a conversation. For literally the next 5 minutes, I'm going to give you that opportunity. So the number is 074 715 39533. So if you do want to call in and let's have a conversation of where you've been in Africa and your experience of Africa as well. But I just quickly want to show you about this group here as well. This group is Black Men's Brotherhood. It's a WhatsApp group for black men out there. I mean, it's been going through from last year, December, this group started, and it's literally really going good sort of stuff. So this is a support group for black men. You can literally find it on NAS at io/Black Men's Brotherhood. Just take a screenshot of this page, type that into the browser, and yeah, it will bring you to the page where you can literally join this group. You will have to fill in a quick application form to make sure that we get you into the right group and stuff. But there's also, guys, a new group as well, which is My Black Solution, which is the hub of this Just Talk Black show. Literally is a black hub, so it has everything coming soon. It would have a website that would deal with everything to do with black people, but at the moment we are just starting off with a WhatsApp group. So you can join that WhatsApp group and find many black owned businesses or people who just want to have a conversation and share many different things within the black community. So that is on nas.io/My Black Solution. So that's a new group that anybody literally in the black community can join. So you can take a screenshot of that. As I said, people, if you do want to phone in, you can do so. I'm here for the next literally 2-3 minutes. So if you want to quickly get that in, 074 715 39533. Let me just show you about next week's show. Guys, this is going to be next week's show. And I'm telling you, healing traumas and finding a healthy love in the black community. Wow. So I'm literally not going to be here next week, Thursday. You will not be seeing me here next week, Thursday. Literally, I'm going to say, guys, it's my birthday and I'm going to have a day off. You know, I'm going to have a day off and just relax, enjoy my birthday, and spend it with the people who mean so much to me in my life and who contributed and who's helping me in my life. So a couple of special people out there who I'm going to be seeing on the day. So I am literally going to be taking that day off. So as I said, the next week's show is talking about healthy love in the black community. Leon Brown will be hosting it for me. He will be your host. He's just hosted before. So that will be on next week, Thursday. You know, I would have loved to be here, guys, and, you know, would have loved to do that interview. Definitely, you know, she is an expert in relationships and stuff, so she would be talking her stuff in about relationship as it's coming close to Valentine's Day. But yes, thank you for the early happy birthday for next week. Really appreciate that, you know, really do appreciate that. So, yep. And that's it, guys. That is literally the Just Talk Black show for today, you know. And as I said, anybody who would like to be on the show as well, you can also call the number down in the right-hand corner. As I said, the 074 715 39533. After the show's finished, if you want to give me a call, and, you know, I can send you a quick application form that you fill in, just telling us a little bit information about yourself, what you do. Even if you don't have a business, it can be a testimony that something that you've been through in your life and that you've experienced, and that you would like to share with the community. You know, so we literally do that. And then what you have to do once I get your application form is literally do a 10-minute test of your webcam or your internet connection. If your internet connection or your website, your internet connection or your camera is not good, we can literally do a live phone in just like today. You know, we can literally do a phone in for you guys as well. So, yeah, we are now looking for new guests for the show. So you are welcome to give me a call. But thank you guys for, you know, your support and everything that you've been going off in the chat as well. For all the people who's been posting messages in the chat, really do appreciate that. You know, so yeah, as I said, I will definitely not be here next week. I'm going to be spending with some lovely people next week on my birthday and enjoying the day with them. So have a nice day, and I hope that you have a nice weekend as well. See you guys later.
From the UK to the motherland, BEEyond Honey. This is legacy. She packed her dreams in a suitcase, heavy with hope. Left gray skies, follow something deeper than gold. They said, why leave comfort? Why take that road? But her spirit kept whispering, go back home. From concrete streets to red rich land, from being told wait to taking a stand. Bloodline calling, couldn't ignore. Legacy knocking, she opened the door. Now running away, she was running towards purpose in her hands, roots in her core. She left the UK to build a legacy. Back to the roots, back to her energy. Built from the soil, sweet with integrity. That's BEEyond Honey legacy. She left the UK to build a legacy. Faith in a vision, no apology. From hive to home, this is destiny. BEEyond Honey legacy. Sun on her skin. Every step I try to tell her when to quit, but queens don't fold when pressure hits. They turn pain into purpose. Struggle in the winds from Rwanda to Tanzania. Natural blends with African character, not just a product sitting on a shelf. BEEyond Honey is identity, health, and wealth. This ain't just business, this is connection. Healing the gap between culture and direction. She left the UK to build a legacy. Back to the roots, back to her energy. Built from the soil, sweet with integrity. That's BEEyond Honey legacy. She left the UK to build a legacy. Faith in a vision, no apology. From heart to home, this is destiny. BEEyond Honey legacy. If you ever felt torn between worlds, if you ever carry more than you were shown, this is for the ones who dare to return and plant their future where their ancestors stood firm. She left the UK to build a legacy, not just a brand, but a history. From Africa's land to global clarity. BEEyond Honey legacy. She left the UK. Thank you for watching the Just Talk Black Show. Real stories, real journeys. BEEyond Honey legacy.